When I was younger, I was a little strict about what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do new things. I wasn't ready to try new experiences. The only way that we really realize if we love something is if we jump in head first. One day it just snapped that I wanted a bus. So I scoured the internet, I was searching, and I found Peachy up in Canada. I came with two of my best friends. We were just amping each other up the whole drive up, and the second I saw her, I knew that I had to bring her home. The drive back was amazing. Just picking it up was a huge travel trip. We spent about a week and a half driving it from the middle of Canada all the way down to San Diego. There's a lot of options that you could get in terms of buses. You know, you can get one that's way smaller that I could just personally sleep in. But the reason why I got something so big and so large was to bring a community together, to be able to have 10 friends here and it be able, like all of us, to travel across the country and just enjoy the experience of it. Every year I do a road trip up to Cosentino, Canada. It's a little surf town on this island called Vancouver Island. Driving up there with all my friends is the most fun part about the trip. So I feel like when you fly, you're missing this whole proponent of traveling that not a lot of people realize. So that's why I'm really adamant about always exploring in America, driving around America, seeing all the beautiful states instead of going to Europe or going across the country to somewhere else. When you are able to bring all these people together and travel with them and make it work, when you come out of it, it's a whole different experience. The things that we've learned from each other, I would have never learned about them if we just hung out every day and went to the beach or they came over for a couple hours. And that really takes the friendship from, you know, a level here to something that I know that I can call them at any part of the night if I were in trouble and they would be at my side. The memories that I'll always have for the rest of my life. You know you're going to point A and point B. You know you're starting here and you're ending there. But having the fluidity to be open about what's in between, those are the experiences about this movement, this lifestyle, that is my favorite part about traveling. The second you meet someone, you know instantly if you're gonna be their friend for the rest of their lives. And when I walked in here, I knew that, that this was gonna be a part of my life. My name is Jake Fishman, and this is my 40-foot converted school bus named Peachy. It's a diesel engine, pretty fuel efficient, slow, but it hauls. I haven't driven it for a couple months at a time, and I can just turn it back on. It's really reliable. So this is a really cool part about the bedroom aspect. We have this back door that kind of acts as like a really nice opener when you're laying in bed and you park somewhere like on the beach, right across the street, and you have a really good view, bird's eye of everything, and a really good breeze. All you need to do is just open this and pull this out. Solar batteries are back there, the controller, and then the bed is up here. We have two solar panels up top that can be reached out through the deck, which is really convenient. So it's easy to work on, easy to get up there. One of the main reasons why I fell in love with this bus specifically was the top deck. I feel like when people are up there, it just brings everyone together. So there's no actual ladder to go on top of the deck. So what we did instead, we just put these pieces here so we can climb up through the front. The best view in the house. So if we were inside, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be enticed to come and introduce themselves, but just having this kind of atmosphere of being on top of the deck and everyone smiling, having a good time, it creates the crowd and it brings people together, which is pretty much the reason why I got this thing, was to bring people together. So come on in. Welcome to the inside of Peachy. Probably one of the more traditional and one of my favorite things about keeping the traditional school bus look is the school bus handle here that I can just lock like as if, you know, we were back in middle school. A lot of the lights and the different stuff that was used for the original school bus is still here, but it's just out of commission. So like with a lot of buses, when you're building something out, I've realized in the process of doing a couple builds with friends that every single thing that you build has to have a second purpose. So with these couches, they're great because you can have 2 people sleep on it. You can have about 7 people sit during the day, but all of this space would go unutilized if you didn't do something else out of it. So what we did was that we made it into storage units that can go under here. So this opens up a lot of storage for different appliances, suitcases. I put my cleaning supplies here, a lot of paint stuff just in case I need to touch up some things. Since this bus has so much space, the kitchen was kind of made so two people could be cooking something at the same time. We have 2 fridges to stock up. We have ample drawer space for different utensils. I put my silverware here. Here I put all my pots and pans. I have my trash cans. I have 2 trash cans that come out, one recycled obviously, and then one just normal waste. We have our 2 side sink. We have our full oven and stove, so the propane's connected, so we can have a full-on meal in here. It's pretty much almost as good as any small apartment kitchen. So the storage up here is really great because I put all my cleaning supplies here. I put candles, paper plates, anything that I need. So in terms of kitchen space, there's a lot. Over here is probably the main food storage that can hold dried goods, fruit, everything like that. So this is another big reason why I fell in love with this bus, was because it could sleep me and my family and my friends very comfortably, a lot of us. So each of these bunk beds has its own personal light, its own personal outlets. The coolest part about this too, like we did with the couches, was we had under the bed storage space for each person to put their clothes so suitcases aren't everywhere. We have the shower in here, pretty spacious. There wasn't like a lot of space to put a toilet, but I think we kind of realized that we'd rather have a shower than a toilet when we're traveling, just because there's a bathroom everywhere, but it's really hard to find a shower. And lastly, we have the master bedroom, which is a full fixed mattress that is just stays like this. And just like the other bunk beds, they have its own personal lights, outlet system over there that's USB connectivity, and various lights. And like I showed on the outside of the bus, the internal storage below here can also be accessed internally. I just pull up, attach there, and then when I want my suitcase, access anything, and then close it back up. The best part is that when you wake up and you're on the beach, this is your window. Every single person that comes in, I want them to write a journal, write a passage, anything that's on their mind. They could draw a picture. They could do anything. So all of these are, are captions of people who have been in the bus and who've experienced something great in it, just like I have. So then I can look back and this can be like the guest book. So every year I'd push myself bigger and bigger. And one day my friend messaged me in San Diego and convinced me to go on a boat with him down to Mexico to this big wave spot. And he told me to buy a board, so I bought a board and I paddled out, and it was about maybe 25 feet that day, probably like the biggest that I've surfed. And I immediately fell in love with it. Like the rush was just up to here. And at the point where I rode my first wave, like my first big wave, I knew that I'm just gonna keep doing this and I'm hooked. There's nothing that I can think about when I'm sitting down here and I think about being out there and paddling for like a big wave and looking down a 25-foot face, and my heart starts racing. And nothing else in my life has ever gotten me to like do that. When you're having a bad day and you wake up and you know it's a bad day and you don't really want to go and you're not in a good mood, no matter if it's 1 foot or 20 feet, you paddle out and your whole mentality changes. Everything changes. So when you're out there, you have moments to think and to reflect about your life, which nowadays I feel like people are so rushed in their daily tasks. Oh, I gotta plan out every single minute of every single hour of every single day, that they don't have that time to reflect and to just sit there. The feeling of just looking into the emptiness of the ocean and just how vast and far it is, and your mind just rolls. Being able to kind of risk certain things about your life, it adds a whole nother passion and proponent to the things that you love to do. I've been doing it for so long now that again, it's therapeutic. My mind just kind of switches off into autopilot and I can just close my eyes and just go into this other world and just be able to completely relax as I just hear the walls of fire around me. And then once you come out of it, then everything just makes more sense. We're living in a time right now where technology and travel is becoming so big. I see that we're going towards more isolation. Where We Roam is a brand that's going to be tailored to van lifers and tiny home people and travelers who just want products that are not only very sustainable, but also minimalistic and have a second purpose to it. Another proponent of Where We Roam is bringing people together, making it more of a community-based company than some industry. There's no better time than now. Challenging yourself every single day to do a little bit extra in terms of acknowledging someone else's presence, doing something that breaks you out of your comfort zone every single little day, builds you up to become this whole different person and steers you towards a direction. Once you're more open, all these different experiences are offered to you. There's going to be failure in doing these things. Failure is the most important part of learning. So then I would have never driven down to Canada, and then I would have never thought about Where We Roam, and then I wouldn't have met all these friends. Treat every single failure as just another stepping stone. As long as you follow what you love to do, success, it'll all just come naturally.